Welcome to Lesson 5, Exploring Different Points of Rotation. In this lesson we are going to continue with rotations, but unlike the previous lesson where the point of rotation was always attached to our original shape, this time our points of rotation are going to be a little bit different. Let's look once again at trapezoid PQRS. As you recall from the previous lesson, we tried an example where point S was the point of rotation and vertex R was a point of rotation, but in this example, our point of rotation is going to be away from the shape. It is going to be exactly one square above line QR, right in the middle of line segment QR. So pause the video, draw this on your graph paper, and see if you can figure out where the trapezoid will end up once we rotate it half turn, 180 degrees. So one thing you can do, because the point of rotation is away from the shape, is attach it with this temporary line here, and I also drew a line for line segment QR. So this T-shaped attachment that we drew is what we're going to begin with rotating half turn or 180 degrees. So remember, with a half turn, doesn't matter which direction we go in. So let's try going counterclockwise. So if we go counterclockwise this way, this is what our T shape should look like. So now that we have our T shape in its rotated position, let's remember where the vertices are. Because they rotated around, vertex R should now be over here, and vertex Q should be on this end of that line segment. So now we can go ahead and draw the rest of the shape. So this is where trapezoid PQRS ends up after it's been rotated 180 degrees or half turn on this point over here. Remember, all we had to do is really take this little attachment to the shape and rotate that line half a turn. That makes it a lot easier than trying to rotate the whole shape. And then after we've got the attachment, we draw the rest of the trapezoid. So remember that wax paper can be used to help us with rotations. The wax paper can be a really helpful tool in rotating our shapes correctly. So here I've got a parallelogram drawn on my paper and also traced on my wax paper on top, and I've drawn this temporary line to attach it. I'm going to turn my parallelogram 1/4 turn counterclockwise. So if I take my temporary line and rotate it a quarter turn counterclockwise, it will end up over here. So now let's try rotating the entire shape with the wax paper. So when I rotated the wax paper, holding down the point of rotation with my pencil, I see that the entire shape has done the 1/4 turn counterclockwise. So that's where it ends up. The last thing that's left is for me to trace the shape underneath the wax paper, and my rotation is complete. So here is my final answer. Got my original shape, I've got my image that has been rotated 1/4 turn counterclockwise, and the orange dot represents the point of rotation. So wax paper is a great tool. Please use it to help you with your rotations. So we learned about a couple of strategies for rotating shapes, especially when the point of rotation is away from the shape. One way would be to connect it with a temporary line, rotate that line to its new position, and then draw the rest of the shape. And the other one is using wax paper and tracing our shape onto wax paper, holding it down with our pencil and rotating the wax paper to see where the new image ends up. So use whatever strategy works for you. Have fun rotating your images with different points of rotation.